I'm Leslie, and I was dead in sin.
I've tried to stand my ground, I've tried to understand, but I can't seem to find my...
At 9 years old, I accepted the Lord as my Lord and Savior, and life was not the same after that. It was new, and I finally had a hope and a joy, but at the same time, I knew it wasn't going to be an easy path either. I, of course, graduated from high school, and I went to college. I went to a Christian college in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was also an avid soccer player, and I made it onto the varsity soccer team. I started and was enjoying that very much, but then when soccer season was over, I was kind of like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, and just wasn't feeling that I was supposed to stay there. So I actually didn't even finish out my first year of college. I went back. I started going to a technical college for early childhood education, and during that time I went back to the church that I kind of grew up in, the church that was how I came to know the Lord. That's where I met this guy who everybody was telling me, he's such a good guy, why don't you like him, Leslie? I ended up being involved in an abusive relationship that I was not raped once, but several times. And I always felt like it was my fault. And it wasn't until I found out that I was pregnant with William that I finally had the strength to get out of what I was in. I was about as dead as a person can get, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. I was just broken. And I remember one day I was standing in the shower. It's funny how the shower lots of times can end up being my prayer spot or when I'm driving the car, and I was just so broken and I didn't even know what to pray. All I could pray was help, Lord. And it was shortly after that that I found out I was pregnant with William. And some people might have thought that meant my life was taking a turn for the worst. But I right away knew that he was a blessing from God, that I couldn't fight for myself, but I could fight for him. And he was part of God reaching down and pulling me out of what I was in. And I had doctors saying, well, what are you gonna do with it? Just assuming that I was gonna have an abortion. And that was not something that I would ever consider. I knew that William was a gift from God no matter how it came about, and that he didn't have anything to do with what happened to me. It wasn't his fault. Why was I gonna make him pay for what was going on? I wasn't. And but in that state of brokenness, not only did God bless me with a beautiful child, for the first time through all of that, I understood that God loved me, because I always compared God's love to the love that I received from my father. And though I love my dad, I grew up, he didn't notice me. I had to be tough. I had to be good. I had to do all these things to be noticed. And in my brokenness, and I know that it was God that reached down and pulled me out of the hell that I was in. That in that I finally understood. That was a major turning point in my Christian walk, that I understood that God loved me enough to save me from what I was in. Even though I didn't listen to him when he warned me, he still saved me through William. And I'm grateful for that. And now I have a story that has a lot of blessing in it, and is something that now I know I can help others who maybe have gone through the same thing as me. Yeah. I am undead by grace.